Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you help me out and like and subscribe. This is part 2 to the video, so if you haven't checked out part 1, make sure you go back and watch that real quick. So let's assume you've done the first couple things, meaning you're still on board with a short-term vacation rental, and you've identified the perfect asset that's placed well in the market. Now I want to go over how to actually optimize your rental. It's like adding a supercharger or a twin turbo to your engine. These smaller investments is what actually wins you the races. Whenever we're optimizing for high performance, there's a few KPIs, which stand for key performance indicators. The main one being occupancy rates. And that's how many days of the month is your rental booked. Is it 50%, 60%, 70%? Once you hit higher and higher occupancy rates, you can start to raise your pricing to fit the actual demand. You'll really be surprised at how much more you can pull on weekends versus weekdays, or holiday weekends, or even really big money makers. A good owner will price based on demand instead of a set it and forget it type schedule. Another great thing to consider is minimum night stays. Now, most owners, they have at least a 2-night minimum, but I've seen a ton of success implementing 3-night minimums, even 4 nights on holiday weekends. It's really crazy how well this can work, because the last thing you want is 2 2-night stays versus 1 4-night stay. The only difference is that you have the expense of a turnover, so why even go through that hassle at all, knowing that the demand is there on certain weekends? There's some great tools out there like AirDNA that can definitely help you decide what price you should be at every single day of the year. And they base that based on your competition's rate and your utilization percentages. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Or if you're going to outsource property management, to make those pricing decisions, let me know so I can recommend a short list of the best management companies in the area and one that will specifically succeed with your asset. So another great suggestion for having a high-performing rental is your furnishings and your decorations. This is definitely where you want the special lady in your life to get involved, and just let her be creative. Guys, I'm telling you, get your ugly bear mitts off this part of the deal. And I mean that because your customers look like this. After deciding where the family's going, usually Mama Bear does the online search and then suggests a few options with a clear leader in the clubhouse, right? And then Papa Bear says, sure, honey, if that's what you like, go ahead and book it. So how the property presents to the female demographic is really mission critical. Now, first things first, it needs to be in a safe area. Once that box is checked, it's all about how cute it is. So furnishings have to be awesome. The flooring, the paint, the trim should all be modern. The decorations need to be interesting and memorable. You should have every board game known to man. Big screen TVs that are upgraded with Netflix and other stuff like that. So not only does the female usually make the reservation, but they're also most likely to leave online reviews. So this stuff goes hand in hand, guys. Don't cheap out after you've bought your rental. Let's make it a high performer. And it should go without saying, but you want to have excellent marketing remarks that describe the property, and you also want to spend a couple $100 to get really high quality professional photos taken. The more the merrier here. You can never, ever have enough photos. If you do this right, your customers will brag and post pictures all over their social media accounts. And they'll tell their friends how great their vacation was. And then their friends look and see where they stayed. They're going to want to book their vacation and stay in your place too. So make sure you do this the right way. Now, once you have your systems in place, I recommend staying at the property at least once per year, even more if possible. Since nobody cares about your investment more than you want to experience it for yourself and kind of audit your systems so you can make corrections or improvements. Make sure all the dishes that are supposed to be there are actually there. Make sure that the fridge doesn't have a funky smell going on. Make sure that the front door isn't creaking. Stuff like that. It's so small, but because it's your property, you'll notice these little things. And so auditing is a really good best practice. Now, as you go and call up your realtor looking to buy a nightly rental, there's some things you want to consider before you actually pull the trigger. First things first is, does the property's COA even allow nightly rentals? Some do and some don't. Some, you have to have certain zoning already in place or be granted a special use permit, which can be pretty difficult to get. But if you narrow your property search down to vacation rental approved only, you should be in pretty good shape so far. Also find out what the monthly association dues are. These take care of some inevitable expenses for sure, but if the dues are too high to support positive cash flow, you might want to think twice. And make sure the association's financial records are in order. Maybe they have hardly any reserves, which means they'll probably have to keep increasing the monthly dues every year or hit you up with special assessments every year, just in order to pay the bills. So take a look at the balance sheet to get an overview of the financial situation and read the profit and loss statements to follow the spending. Based on the financials, you can usually tell if the COA is managed properly or is there deferred maintenance and no money in the bank. Well, that just might be a situation to avoid altogether for a lot of reasons. Even if the COA is in good shape, you still want to budget for annual assessments and take the win when they do not happen and not the loss when they do and you didn't budget for it. I actually used to sit on the board of one of the local COAs where I owned several condos, and most of the meetings are budget related, but also how to do what's in the best interest of the owners on their behalf. They're not all bad, but yes, they're all different in terms of how much they care and how much work the decision makers put into it. Now, with any nightly rental in a COA, check out the amenities like the pool and the workout area. Make sure there's no restrictions for your guests to use those. Owners, of course, can use them, but sometimes, depending on the association, they'll rule that non-owners are not allowed to enjoy those amenities too. And also make sure to find out if the COA has exclusive rights to property management. Chances are that's probably 50-50 whether they do or don't, meaning no matter what, if you want your property to generate revenue, you have to use their exclusive management company. Although this might seem unfair, think of it from their perspective. If just a few units are poorly managed, it can drive down the value of the rest of the property. It can also add confusion to logistics. So I get why some associations do this, but basically it doesn't give you a choice to decide how your unit's managed and marketed. It's just a number of many units. There's no flexibility or customization with your unit. It can really be a downside. Unless you're looking for more of a turnkey situation like that, just be prepared for a little less revenue versus if you decided to self-manage or outsource management at will. With exclusive management, it's just a system like a hotel in the form of a condo. Speaking of property management, expect management fees to come around 30 to 50% of gross income is what I see on average. Sometimes that includes cleaning fees, sometimes not. You can also charge back the cleaning fee to your guest on the reservation as well. That's always an option too. When you're deciding on property management, yes, their fee is important, but it's not everything. You just can't afford to have an okay property manager. They need to be as excellent as your property is, and that they handle maintenance and repairs in a timely manner, and that they handle quick same-day turnovers with a breeze. And that housekeeping, they do a phenomenal job every single time. And then in your overall budgeting and analyzing of properties, you'll still have to insure the property, pay the property taxes, pay for accounting, property management, the maintenance, repairs, furnishing, replacement items, so on and so on. And then if you're not paying all cash, figuring out what your debt service or your mortgage is going to run you each month. It's important to know your numbers and make as accurate of a projection as possible. And if the numbers pencil out for you, well then enjoy your investment and make it the best that it can be. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. I'd love to help. If you'd like to help me, just like and subscribe and check me out on all the social media platforms. I'm Gary Nelson. Until next time, thanks for watching.